Hello everyone and welcome to our training devoted to Cubo platform visual appearance customization. My name is Gleb and I represent the development team of Cubo platform. Today I will guide you through the key aspects of Cubo platform visual appearance and show you how to customize your application look and feel. This course will introduce you to the customization of the platform look and feel, themes and visual settings, and enable you to customize the visual appearance of your application. We will follow the complete way of customization of a small Cube application. The target level of this course is the beginner level. Cube framework experience is not mandatory. However, basic Java SE and CSS knowledge will be useful. Cube platform is designed for development of enterprise applications characterized by a complex data model, dozens or hundreds of screens, complex business logic, as well as the requirements to control access rights, scalability, and fault tolerance. A wide range of built-in functionality, advanced code generation, visual interface design, and support for hot deployment enables you to reduce the time and cost of development dramatically. The platform is built on a complete stack of open Java technologies, which enables you to use know-how of the largest free software ecosystem in the world, as well as to control the source code of the entire stack. An open architecture enables you to override the behavior of most of the platform mechanisms, ensuring high flexibility. Developers can use popular Java IDEs and have full access to the source code. Today, we'll create an application for a small Italy food delivery. At Holmont, we really like pizza. So let's build dashboard for Italy delivery company where we will apply almost all the available visual customizations. Let me show the result we want to achieve. We will try to create such a dashboard with side menu, widgets, charts, tables, forms, and so on. Also, we will apply CSS styling with SCSS variables, and we will try to make this dashboard responsive. Now let's start your Cube Studio instance and create a new project. Set name for the project, delivery demo. Set project namespace to demo and root package to company demo. Today I will use platform version 6.8.0. Click OK. And then, when project is ready, let's enable chart app component in advance. In the project properties section, click Edit, select Charts, and click OK. Now let's talk about how we can customize visual themes using Studio. A platform theme can be modified in the project, of course, and in the modified theme you can change branding images, add icons to the and use them in visual components, create new visual styles for visual components and use them in the style name attribute. This will require some expertise in CSS. Also, you can modify existing styles of the visual components and modify common parameters such as background color, margin, spacing, and so on. Themes are defined in SCSS files, and to modify or extend a theme in the project, you should create a specific file structure in the web module. A convenient way to do this is to use Cube Studio. So let's go back to the Cube Studio. Let me zoom in a little bit. And in the project properties section, click Manage Theme, Create Theme Extension. In the pop-up window, you're able to select the theme you want to extend. And the platform includes two ready-to-use themes, Hala and Havana. Havana is the old theme, and we don't recommend to use this theme in new projects. So let's select Hala and click Create. As a result, the required file structure will be created in the web module directory. So now let's start our project and see how it looks like for now. Just click Start and apply database creation. And while application is starting, let me show you one more time what we want to achieve. So we want to create such dashboard with charts, with tables, with data grid, with some form, and this screen, this dashboard will be responsive. Okay, so now my application has started, and after successful login I can see that it is plain cube application with the default look and feel of Hala. It looks like this. Okay, first of all, we want to change the layout of the main window because we want to use a side menu instead of the main menu on the top, instead of this menu. Let's go to the studio, open the generic UI section and click New. The generic UI templates dialog appears, and here you can see all the available templates. And you can see templates for the main window here, default main window, responsive main window with side menu, and side menu main window. You can customize these templates. You can copy of any of the template and then edit, just in case. Let's select the responsive main window with side menu and click Create. Because of the hot deploy feature, we don't need to restart our application. So let's see the changes. And for that purpose, we just go to the application and relogin. And as you can see, the side menu has appeared. Okay, now let's change the theme variables. Let's customize our default look and feel, and for instance, let's change colors. To do this, start the IntelliJ IDEA, and I assume that you all have installed Cube IDEA plugin. If not, please open Configure Plugins, open Browse Repositories, and find Cuba and install this plugin. After that, go to the studio and in the project properties section, click the ID button. Studio will create project files and open our project in the IDE. Okay. First of all, let's have a look at the themes directory. Expand modules, web, themes, and here you can find the Hala directory, and within it the branding directory with images for branding. We will change them later. A directory with name equal to your root package. In our case, it's company demo. The 5 icon file and the styles SCSS file. Within company demo, we can find Hala X CSS file. It contains only an only mixin called company demo hala ext, and within this mixin I can define my theme modifications. I can add CSS rules, I can define variables, and so on. And within hala x defaults SCSS file, this file for the global theme constants, so we can override existing theme constants or define new ones. So let's change the text which is shown while the application is loading. I will use this snippet. So here we use a special value variable, and let's apply our modifications and see how we can modify our theme on the fly without server restart. For this purpose, let's go to the studio and open the search dialog. You can open the search dialog using the search button here or by shortcut, yes, Alt/. Using this dialog, you have the ability to invoke Gradle tasks. And in my case, I'm going to use a special deploy themes Gradle task. Okay, and now we're able to see the changes. Let's go back to the application, and to see our change right now, we need to slow down our internet connection, because this message will appear only while screen is loading, and right now it is really fast. Let's open developers tools in the browser, open network section, and switch internet to, for instance, fast 3G, and try to restart our page using Shift F5 shortcut, because we need to make full restart of our page. And here I can see my defined message, Italy delivery. Let me switch to slow 3G and restart my page. So you can see additional text below the loading spinner. Okay, let's close it. You may ask where we can find all the available variables. Let me show you. I go to the, let me do it like this, Valo API. Yes. In fact, Hala theme is based on Vaadin Vala theme, so you can use all variables listed here in Hala theme extension. For instance, let's change the focus color. Let's select the focus color. I can read about this variable, and let's copy the focus color variable, and let's go to the IDE. Okay, and here within Halo X default SCSS, let's change its value to, for instance, red color. Yes, and once again, let's apply our changes using the same Gradle task. So go to the studio and invoke deploy themes Gradle task. Okay, and let's refresh our page. I see that I see our changes. So my application now is red. Now let me show you another helpful website. As I said before, Hala theme is based on Vala theme, Vardin Vala theme, and you can find demo-vardin.com Vala theme. There you can find a lot of predefined styles for UI components. For instance, for labels, for buttons, for text fields, and you can use all the styles in your application. Also, if you go to our demo sampler application, which is available from our Cubo platform web page, you can find predefined styles section, and here you can find examples of using the styles within Cube application. Buttons, containers, labels, and so on. All this you can find in our Cube platform online demo section sampler. Okay. Now let's go back to the IDE, and I'm going to show another way to overview available variables. So here in the IDE you can see external libraries section, and if we expand this section and find Vardin themes, we can find Vala theme, and within the shared directory we can find variables. So this you can find all the SCSS files from Vala theme, and you will be available to overview all the mix scenes, all the variables and stuff like that. And you can see that there are comments for all variables. It's very convenient. And also there is a jar file with cube optimizations. Let me find it. Cube web themes, yes. And here within Hala theme you can find components. You can find styles for components. You can find Hala defaults here with our variable or our reading of existing variables. And for instance, if we open text field component, let me open text field here. No, it's nothing interesting here. Okay. I mean that in addition to global variables, you can find some variables within any component, I don't know, for instance, for button or for color picker and so on. Okay. Now let's customize visual appearance of our application using the following variables. Let me add it to my project, and I will remove vFocus color red and replace it with the following. Let me go back to the studio and restart the deploy themes. Okay. And now if I refresh the page, I can see that my application has changed and looks like this. There are no rounded borders for fields in other colors, shadows, and so on. Okay. Now let's proceed to the next possible customization. It's branding. Take a look at this logo, at this welcome message, at this powered by Cuba platform message, and this Cuba login title for the web page, and all this can be modified. To do this, let's go back to the studio and open project properties section and click edit. And here there is a special button called branding. And here you can see available actions to set. For instance, application caption, application logo image, window caption, window welcome message, and window logo image. First of all, let's set the application caption. Let it be Italy delivery. Okay, then let's set a login window caption to Italy delivery. And let's set a login welcome message to, for instance, delivery Italy, just to see difference. Okay, click OK and apply the changes. Now let's go to the application and let's log in and log out, because we need to reload this screen, and we can see that all captions have changed. We see delivery Italy, we see Italy delivery, and so on. But if we log in, take notice of Cuba application caption. Value for this label is set within the side menu template. So for now we can't change its value from Studio, but we can change it easily from the IDE. So let's change Cuba application and welcome to Cuba application captions. Let's go to the IDE and open the Xmain window XML file. You can find it within web module, web screens, Xmain window XML. Let me close the others. Okay, and let's find label with ID app title label. It's here. We can see that value for this label is obtained from main message key application logo label. And if we navigate to the message key by holding Control button and clicking, we can see that its value is a Cuba application. And to change this value, we need to open the main message properties file of our application. It is here in web directory of our root package. And we need to define the same message, the same message key, and define our custom message for this key. In my case, it will be application logo label Italy delivery. And now let's find key for the welcome message. Let's go back to the Xmain window XML and find welcome label. It's here, and we can see that its value obtained from application welcome text message key. So we can go to our main message properties file and define a message for this key. Now we're able to go to application and see our changes. Let's log out and log in again, and we can see our changes. Now let's proceed with branding images. You can see them here, this image, and in the login window here. First of all, let's navigate to our theme directory. Sorry, and open the branding directory. See, here you can see two image files which are used as branding images: app icon login and app icon menu. And we are going to change that. Okay, and let's do the same for fav icon file. Okay, now we need to apply our changes, and we need to go to the studio and execute the deploy themes Gradle task. Now let's go to the application and use Shift F5 to refresh the page. And if images are not changed, then let's open Developer Tools and disable cache. But it seems okay. Yes. Now we're going to create a dashboard with widgets, tables, notification icon, and stuff like that. Before we proceed, let's talk about CSS and SCSS. Let me show you. As I said before, we use SCSS files in our applications, and CSS is completely compatible with all versions of CSS. So if you know CSS, it is easier to you are able to write SCSS styles. But in addition to CSS features, SCSS provide feature-rich language on top of CSS and supports variables, functions, mixins, and includes, which is really convenient while you're writing your styles, while you're creating your styles. And if you want to read more about SCSS, just visit the homepage. Let me. It is strongly recommended to use Atom Editor or IntelliJ IDEA Ultimate for editing of SCSS files, because as you can see, in my case, may I open it? I have additional features for while I'm writing SCSS code. For instance, I can see colors, I can see some hints. I don't know, for instance, and so on. Yes. Okay, let's go to the studio and let's open the generic UI section and create a dashboard frame. So click New, select the blank screen template, set descriptor name to dashboard frame, and set menu item to empty value. And after that, click create and open. So descriptor name dashboard frame, no menu item because we don't want to display this frame from the menu, and click create and open. Okay, now switch to the properties tab and change base class to abstract frame. Instead of abstract window, use abstract frame. And if we switch to the controller tab, here we can see that dashboard frame extends abstract frame, and we can remove this import. Okay. Abstract frame is a special base class for reusable parts of screens. So if you want to embed one screen to another, you can use frames. Now you can just click OK to save the screen. And let's open our ext main window XML in the IDE. So select it and click the IDE button. And let's remove this welcome label. So instead of this label, we will add special frame UI component like this. Frame with ID dashboard frame screen dashboard frame width 100% and height 100%. After that, let's open our dashboard frame, so you can just click on the screen value, and here you can see the definition of the frame. And let's add the following. Expand the layout element, and let's add label with value welcome and style name h1. Okay, and let's go back to the application and see our changes. I just log in, and we see that dashboard frame is shown in the main window instead of the welcome label. Now let's customize the layout of the dashboard frame using Studio. So let's go back to the Studio and open dashboard frame XML. First of all, let's remove the label, and let's add hbox. Okay, and let's set width 100% for this hbox. You can do it either using the properties tab and setting value manually, or you can right click on the hbox and use this small button to expand to set width 100% for this component like this. Now let's add a label to the hbox. Let's set its value to delivery dashboard. Okay, and let's set its style name to h1, and you can either write it from the scratch like this, or you can click the plus button and find existing style name. For instance, I see this label h1 style. Okay, now let's add a button. And let's set its description to notifications, and its caption to 7. It will be a number of notifications, and its alignment to top right. Okay, and now I'm going to show you how to set an icon. Find the icon field and click this button. So icon set allows you to decouple usage of icons in visual components from real paths to images in theme or font element constants. And they also simplify overriding of icons used in the UI inherited from application components. Application icons, the application icons tab allows you to choose all the image files from a theme. In our case, it is just browsing images. In the Cube Icons tab, it allows you to you can find predefined cube icons with standard names such as add, cancel, close, and so on. For instance, these icons used in our actions, create action, remove action, and so on. And the last option available here is the font awesome icons. But I will use the first option, icon set. It is a brand new feature. And let's find the bell icon. And I want to use bell O icon. So click OK. And let's apply the changes and see the results. So click OK. And let's relog in to our application. So we can see the header and the notifications button. However, the appearance of the button differs from the mockup. So we're going to apply predefined Vala style. Let's open Vala theme demo again. Buttons and links section. And take notice of borders colored style and borders. This one. So let's go back to the studio. Open our dashboard frame, select the button, and let's add style name. And I just search for borders colored style and click apply. Okay, now go to the application and relog in. So the button looks better now, but not perfect. So we will change its appearance later in this training. Now let's proceed with our dashboard. Let's go to the studio and let's add one more H box. So I'm going to palette and H box. Okay, and let's set its width to 100%. And let's add 4 serial charts. 3, 4. If you don't see the charts section, the palette, make sure that you enabled the charts app component. Okay, let's set height of each chart to 150 pixels. 150. and it's leads to 100%. Okay. Below each box with charts, let's add a grid layout. And let's set its ID to widgets box. Okay, and set it width to 100%. Then select the root layout and expand the widgets box and set spacing to true, like this. And we will add widgets to the widgets box, such as table, data grid, group box, and chart. First of all, let's add pie chart. So pie chart. Let's set it to the left bottom cell here. Then let's find group box and add it to the right top cell. Then let's find data grid and add it to the right bottom. And finally, table to the left top cell. Okay, but before we proceed with widgets, we need to create a data model for our application, because widgets worth nothing without data. Click OK to save the screen. Stop the application and go to the data model section. Let's create a new entity. Click new entity and set its name to menu item rating. New item rating. Yes, and click OK. Let's add attribute with name title, data type string, mandatory. Click add, and one new attribute place with data type integer and also mandatory. Click OK. Now let's go to the instance name tab and select the title attribute for the name pattern and click OK. Let's create one more entity, new entity with name delivery queue item. Delivery queue item, and let's add order number attribute with data type long and mandatory. Click new, set name address with type string and mandatory. Okay, and one more attribute with name delivery start TS and type date time and mandatory, and click add. Then go to the instance name tab and select order number as instance name and click OK. Now click the generate DB scripts button and click Update Database. Okay. Now we need to create standard CRUD screens for our entities. So let's select Delivery Queue item and click New Generic UI Screen. Then select the Entity Browser and Editor screens and click Create. Then go back to the Data Model section, select the menu item Rating Entity, click New Generic UI Screen, select the Entity Browser and Editor screens template, and click Create, then close. Now let's open our dashboard frame and open the Data Sources tab. Click New. Set type, collection data source, select entity menu item rating, set view to local, and let's update query to we're going to add order by place. I can share you a snippet if you want. Okay. So we will sort our data by place in this data source. Now let's create one more data source with type collection data source and entity delivery queue item, set view to local, and let's add order by delivery start ts. So do it like this. Okay. Now go to the Layout tab and select the table widget. And in the Properties tab, let's select data source as menu item rating. Okay, and let's set height and width for this component to 100%. So set width, set height. Okay. Now let's select the group box widget here, and let's set caption to raise delivery problem, and set its height and width to 100%. So actually width by default 100%, and just set height to 100%. Okay. Then select the pie chart widget, and for the pie chart I will use manual data binding. You'll see it later. Just set height and width to 100%. Okay, and the last one, the data grid widget. Set its data source to delivery queue item ds, and set its width and height to 100%. Okay, and let's click OK to save the screen. Now let's try to see the result. So let's start our application. Okay, let me close this and restart the application. For now, it doesn't look pretty good. Just empty charts, table, data grid, and group box. Let's add some data and prettify charts. So let's go to the studio and select the dashboard frame XML and click IDE. And let's go to the IDE. Okay, let me close others. So first of all, we'll add data to our serial charts. And as we use the free version of mcharts by default, all charts have a credits link, and I want to move this link to the bottom right corner. So I'm talking about these links. So I want to move it. To do this, I just let me find my first chart. I can add credits position and set bottom right. Inline data definition, it is a special feature used for prototyping purpose. It means that you can specify data for charts right in XML. So static data just for prototyping purpose. Okay, and I'm going to change my charts with the following. Okay, so let's overview the changes. As I said before, I want my credits position to be right, bottom right. Also, each chart has custom style name matrix panel. We will create, we will define the style later, and you can see inline data. So I just write each data item right in the XML and define property name, property value, and so on. Because we don't have real data in our application, and we use inline data just to prototype our charts and add some sense to our dashboard. Okay, now let's relog in to see the changes. Let's go back to the application and relog in. Okay, I see that my charts have values. Now let's add several top 10 menu items. To do this, let's open application menu item ratings and click create. Truffle with place 1. Frutomisto with place 2. Buffalo Baconici salad with place 3. The Porky with place 4. And the Tuscan with place 5. Okay, let's relog in to see the data on the dashboard. Okay, now I see that my table has values. Okay, and now let's create a couple of delivery queue items. So go to the application delivery queue items. Order number, for instance. Okay, address and date today. And let it be 12:00. One more. 9:25. And today, like this. Okay. Create, and one more. Address, order number 955, and for instance 23. Okay, once again, let's relog in to see the data on the dashboard. we can see that the data grid also has data. Now let's design race delivery problem form. It is empty now, and we will add text field, text area, button to this form and apply some styling. So let's go to the studio and open dashboard frame XML. Okay, and let's add text field. Text field to the group box here. Yes. Let's set its caption to title and its width to 100%. Okay, let's add text area and let's set its ID to problem text area. Okay, set caption to summary and set width to 100%. Okay, and let's add a button. To the group box. Okay, and let's set its caption to report problem. Alright, now let's select group box and expand our problem text area. And also let's enable show as panel property. If this property is set to true, the component will look like Vaadin panel. It means that it will have header area, background color, and borders. And it is really useful for widgets. You will see it. So let's click OK and relog in to see our changes. So like this. Okay, the last one widget is a pie chart. Now let's fill pie chart with inline data too. Okay, and we need to find our pie chart. Let me do it like this. Pie chart, and replace it with a snippet. Okay. So we just added custom style name to this pie chart, and define some inline data. Okay, let's go back to the application and relog in to see the changes. So we have prepared UI stub for our dashboard, and we're ready to add styles and some other UI components to make it looks better. Now let's proceed with styling. Let's apply some predefined styles from Vala theme. For instance, let's add a danger style for the report problem button. For this, let's go back to the studio and open the dashboard frame XML and select the report problem button. Open the properties section and find style name with name danger, button danger. Take notice pay attention that in this dialog you can see almost all available predefined styles, but not all styles are applicable for the particular component. For instance, you can see that this styles is applicable for label component and, for instance, danger for the button component. Take it into account. Okay, set style name danger, and let's click apply, and let's reopen the screen. And I can see that our button is red right now, so it's danger. Okay, now let's change table and data grid styling. First of all, let's add a caption for the table. Go to the studio, select the table component and set its caption to top 10 menu items, like this. Okay, and then select the data grid component and set its caption to delivery queue. And click apply. Now go back to the application and relog in. So we can see small captions and it doesn't look pretty. Let's have a look at how we can customize these captions. Go to the studio and we're going to add custom style names. So before we have used predefined style names. So we just select a style name, relog in, and we see our changes. Now we'll create our custom style name and write our custom CSS or SCSS code. So let's select the data grid component and set its style name value of its style name field to bold caption. Okay, and the same style name for the table component. So select table and set style name to bold caption. Now we need to define CSS rules for this style in our Hala extension. For this, let's go to the IDE and open hala.ext SCSS file. So it is within modules, web, themes, Hala, our root package, hala.ext SCSS. And our style will look like this. So vCaption, bold caption, font size, font weight. By default, Vaadin adds vCaption here, vCaption prefix to caption elements. So we're going to use this naming convention to add styles to caption element and only for caption element. And now let's go back to the studio and let's deploy our themes. Okay, let me close the screen to save the changes and let's relog in and log in again. And refresh the page. Here. So I can see pretty captions for our table and data grid. Now let's customize our metrics panel. As you can remember, each chart in this panel has custom style name, and I want using this style name, I want to add a background color, borders, and highlighting for these panels. So let's write some CSS. Go to the IDE and let's add the following. So just implement or define this style in your project. So we will have white background, border radius, and transition. And now I need to apply this theme changes. So I go to the studio and one more time execute the deploy themes Gradle task. Okay, now we can go to the application and restart the page. Refresh the page, sorry. Here, so I can see white background, I can see border radius, and I see transition with shadow while I'm hovering over this widgets. It looks pretty. Okay, now let's deal with notifications button. This one. We can use CSS to change the layout of this button. And first of all, we need to apply custom style name. Go to the studio, open dashboard frame XML, and let's add one more style for our button. So we already have one style name, but we can add several style names to a component by separating them by space symbol. So I just add one more style name, notifications icon. Okay, and click apply. Now let's go to the IDE and let's add the following. Once again, go to the studio and deploy themes. Okay, and let's log in and refresh the page. We can see that our notifications button looks different, and for this purpose we just use CSS without any without creating a new component or something like that. So CSS is very powerful feature. Now we'll change the styling of top 10 menu items because I want to make it the same as raise delivery problem group box. I mean that caption should look like in the raise delivery problem, and for that purpose we will remove caption and header from the table, and also we will change the order of columns and add styles for them. And finally, our table will look like here. Let me show you the result, like here. This pretty small picture, but you can see that it looks the same as the raise delivery problem widget. Okay, let's go to the studio and select our table. And here in the hierarchy tree, you can right click on the table and use wrap into CssLayout action. Okay, and CssLayout is a container that enables full control over placement and styling of enclosed components using CSS. So let's set height 100% for it. So height 100%, and width 100%. So, and let's set style name card. It is one of the predefined styles from Vaadin Vala, which makes a layout looks like a card. So let's layout card style. Okay. Now let's add a hbox to our CSS layout. Okay. So here. And for this hbox, I will set style name vPanel caption. vPanel caption. And set width 100%. Okay. Then let's add a label to the hbox. And set its value to top 10 menu items. Menu items. Okay. And then let's add a button. Set its align to middle right. Set its description to show details. Set style name to borders colored. Okay, and let's choose an icon. And I want info circle, like this. Okay, now let's select the table and wrap into vbox. So once again, right click on the table, wrap into vbox. Okay, for the vbox, let's set margin to true. And let's set height to 100%. Okay. Then let's select the table and click the edit button for the columns field. Change columns order, so the place column will be the first, and set the place column width to 30 pixels. Okay, then click OK. Find show selection attribute, set it to false. The same for settings enabled, set it to false. And let's remove caption, like this. And let's click apply and see our changes. So we need to relog in. You can see our widget, and we have one problem with overflow here, so we need to fix it. Go to the studio, select the CSS layout, and apply style name. We'll use custom style name to fix this problem. Let's set it to top 10 card, like this. And now we need to define this style. So I'm going to the ID and define the style. Now let's go back to the studio and deploy our themes. Okay, let's relog in and refresh the page. Now our problem is fixed, and the whole table placed within our widget. And also we have this button. Okay, now let's add styling to the first menu item. I want it to be highlighted. For that purpose, we will use special functionality available for tables and data grids. We will use style provider. So let's go to the IDE and let's open dashboard frame and find our table and set ID to it. It will be top 10 menu table. Okay, then we need to open our screen controller. So I can do it like this, and let's replace its content with the following. And I need to inject all this stuff. So what we have here, we added a style provider to our table, and if property current property value is equal to place, so, it means that we can return style names for the place column. We check if we have the place for the current entity, and if the place is equal to 1, so it means that it is the first menu item, we return menu item first style name. Otherwise, we return menu item place style name. For the other columns and the rows, we return now. It means that it means no style name. So we need to define the styles, and I have snippet for this. What we see here, we see that values for the place column will have bold font weight and center alignment. And the first menu item will have color red, and it will have yellow ellipses like this, or yellow circle. So let's deploy themes and take a look on it. So I'm going to Studio, yes, close and accept external changes. You can see that Studio checks if we change our source files in the ID, and you can either accept changes or decline changes, whatever you prefer. So deploy themes. And let's relog in and refresh the page. So I can see that my place values are centered and they are bold, and for the first item we have yellow ellipses and red color. So you can see that I add some style names, style classes, as some styles values for them. I want to show you how you can find a particular style class name. For instance, for the table, we can go to the developer tools and let me select this item. So you can see, let me switch to the idea that in addition to my custom style names, I use this one, vtable cell wrapper. You can see that it locates here. So actual value for the cell is placed within this div with class vtable cell wrapper. So you can investigate any element, any component on the screen and write styles according to the existing styles. For instance, for button, I can see vbutton caption, vbutton wrap, and so on. So you don't need to remember or Google these class names, just use developer tools and investigate it and so on. Okay, now let's proceed with data grid. Let's open dashboard frame in the ID, and for the data grid, let's define ID, and it will be delivery queue grid. Delivery queue grid. Okay, now let's switch to the controller and the following. I need to inject my data grid. I can do it, for instance, by clicking Alt Enter and select inject. Import the same inject action for the time source. And okay, this huge amount of code just calculates time difference for the our delivery queue item and our current time, and if delivery starts TS value before current time, we return this style name. So we will mark our late delivery queue items with red color. So we need to add a really simple style for that purpose. So it will be like this, late delivery color red. And once again, as for the table, data grid, StyleProvider accepts column ID and current entity or current row item and checks if this column is delivery starts TS, we make our calculations and then probably return class style name. Let me go to the studio and deploy the changes. So I use, sorry, deploy themes, and then I'm going to relogin. and refresh the page. So in my case, I see that these two delivery queue items is late, and only this one is still active. Right now, only the side menu is responsive. You can see it here, so we can change size of our browser page, and it's changed. But our um, dashboard isn't responsive. It's only stretches, and we need to fix it. And any component has the responsive attribute. And if we go to the studio and select any component, for instance, group box, we can see that it has a responsive checkbox. But bear in mind that this attribute itself does nothing. I mean, that if you set this attribute to true, nothing will happen. Because the main idea is that if you enable responsive property, you'll be able to write special CSS rules that react to size changes. And I'm going to replace my layout element with the following. So let me just... So I replace layout element with my snippet. Okay. And now let's talk about the given code. Here we have two CSS layouts, and in fact, CSS layout is the most flexible component in Cube because of its CSS nature. It is not so easy to use it because we need to write CSS every time we use it, but it is really useful if you want to provide responsive UI. So our screen have two CSS layouts, dashboard header and widgets panel. Okay, and I'm going to use the same styles in my application. By default, we tune some CSS properties, for instance, overflow. Also, we use margins here, and we use margins in CSS due to layout problems while using margin properties in XML. Because of CSS layout handle it in a different way, and the most important part here is the use of this width range attributes. So enabling responsive feature allowing you to use this width range attributes, so you can write CSS that will be able applied according to the screen size. And if we open our X main window XML, we can see that layout, the root layout element has responsive set to true here. And our components also. Okay, now let's go to the studio and run the deploy themes Gradle task for the last time, I suppose. Okay. And let's relog in. Oh, and refresh the page. Okay, so let's check our responsiveness, and let's change size. So now I can see the full size, and then let's change it. So for now I see that instead of single row for the matrix charts, I see 2 rows. And if I move my screen, make it smaller, I can see that my widgets now placed one under each other, like this. Okay. And all of this because of responsive responsive attribute and this responsive styles, which take into account this width range attribute. Okay. The last thing I want to show you is a special online demo application called Taxi Dashboard Demo. So I'm going to Cubeplatform.com, learn online demo, and here you can find a responsive dashboard demo. In this application, CSS layouts and responsive stylings are used, and so using this demo you can create the same layout in your applications, and using the same approach with the responsive attribute and responsive styles. So this demo is also responsive. Let me show you. So like this. And the source files of this demo you can find in our GitHub. GitHub.com Cubo platform dashboard, sample dashboard, or using the samples tab of Cubo Studio. Okay, and so I think that I've told you about all the key options for customizations, and for customizations applications look and feel using themes and CSS rules. Let me conclude our session. Today we have introduced ourselves to Cubo platform and tries to use Cubo Studio and IntelliJ to work with CSS styles and to change our application look and feel. Thank you guys for your patience, for your attention, and bye. See you.